national road trip featuring over 30 universities for college-bound teens and their parents. We also could not have done this without our partners at Forefront Baltimore and the Teen Funder Collaborative. Our Jump on the Bus virtual college road trip includes student-led tours, professional information sessions, and ways to virtually connect with the colleges you are interested in. Overall, our college road trip throughout the month of June will feature about 150 admission representatives, Hillel representatives, industry professionals, and students from the over 30 colleges and universities that we are featuring. We just hit 6,745 visitors to our website. So thank you for being one of them, and thank you for jumping on the bus with us this evening. If you have missed any of the videos, any of the information sessions up till now, please know that they are on our YouTube channel, and we have great TikToks made by all of our college students that can all be found on our website. New college tours and information sessions are held daily throughout the month of June. Follow us on social media at JumpSparkATL and on our website, roadtriptocollege.org, to sign up for more sessions and to create your own personal road trip. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I am very excited to introduce our panelists this evening from James Madison University. We are joined this evening by Paul Campbell, the Senior Assistant Director of Admissions, Jenny Weiss, the Hillel President, and Georgia Rose Frazier, a Student Ambassador. I am going to hand it off to them, but as they are presenting, if you want to ask any questions, there's a Q&A feature. Go ahead and drop questions there, and either our panelists will answer them throughout the presentation, or I will pop back up at the end to handle Q&A. So please make sure you are putting all of your questions there. I'm very excited again that you have all chosen to join us this evening, and I'm going to hand it off now to Paul. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Kelly. I appreciate it. As Kelly said, my name is Paul Campbell, here in the Office of Admissions at James Madison University in Harrisonburg, Virginia. I'm going to share my screen and show a presentation to you all very, hopefully fairly quickly. And then we're going to get to the true stars of the show, Jenny and Georgia Rose, who will tell you what it's like to be a student here at JMU. So hang on just a moment. Let me get my screen up here. All right, and so I do want to welcome you to our information session about James Madison University. But before I begin, I'd like to let some of our students welcome you as well.
Welcome to James Madison University.
Welcome to JMU.
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 By the time I got here, I could see that it was everything I imagined and more.
So you got to go see the quad first. Definitely check out Wilson Hall.
The skyline is really beautiful. I wasn't used to mountains or anything. I just remember getting here and I was like, whoa, this place is beautiful.
Go to the dining halls, get some good food. You got E Hall, D Hall, all the great downtown foods that you can imagine.
I definitely love the door holding too. That was nice. Just everyone pitching in and helping you out and holding doors for you.
There's so many welcoming and inviting people that you'll definitely want to meet, and the school spirit here is awesome.
JMU welcomes you with open arms. I'm so excited for you to be here.
I promise if you come here, you're gonna have the best time of your life. You're gonna make so many friends, so many memories, and have the best experience you could ever ask for.
All right, great. So we're just going to spend about 15 minutes talking about this information about James Madison, some basics and some numbers and some admissions information before we get into our student panelists. As I said, my name is, or as I was introduced, my name is Paul Campbell. Been here at James Madison for about 25 years and have a master's degree from JMU and am married to a double Duke with 2 degrees from JMU who also works on campus. So in our house, we bleed pretty deep purple. Our colors are purple and gold. You hear that phrase a lot, of bleeding purple. So as I said, I'm going to give you some overall information. We're going to throw a lot of numbers at you, but they're all available on our website at www.jmu.edu in various places. So let's go ahead and get started. First, let's talk about some of the history and the basics about the university. JMU was founded in 1908 as a teacher's college. And since then, while we have grown tremendously, we've always kept our small school feel. Our enrollment's now approximately 22,000 students, but it certainly never feels that large. Nearly 20,000 of those students are undergraduates with only about 2,000 graduate students. So we are an undergraduate focused institution. We are a state university in Virginia, so therefore we have a majority of in-state students from the Commonwealth of Virginia. About 75% of our students are from within Virginia, and about 25% from out of the state of Virginia. And those students, those 25%, represent almost all 50 states and about 65 foreign countries. One of the other numbers I like to start with, just because everybody always wants to know, is what's this going to cost us? So right here, you see a breakdown of our tuition and fees for students coming in this coming fall as freshmen. This year, it marks the second year in a row that our Board of Visitors, our governing body, has voted to freeze tuition for in-state and out-of-state undergraduate students. And so in other words, we haven't raised these fees or tuition and fees in the last 2 years. JMU continues to offer one of the lowest tuitions in Virginia and be one of the best values in higher education nationally, honestly. You can visit our University Business Office website. You see the link there on the screen for more detailed information about tuition and fees. To offset that, we like to talk a little bit about how you can afford it. We encourage all families to complete the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, to apply for financial aid at JMU. It's the only application you need to complete to be eligible for all federal, state, and institutional grant aid offered through the university. In addition, we also encourage you to take a look into any and all scholarship opportunities available to you both at home and at JMU. The link on the very bottom of the screen there is to a list of financial aid scholarships that are available to all of our incoming students. We have a number of different types of scholarships and different ways that you apply for them. So I want to kind of hit a couple of the highlights here. The ones we have on the screen are just a representative sample. Includes our Dingledy Bluestone scholarships, which is probably one of our most prestigious. Requires a separate application with essays and requires that all of our finalists come to campus for an in-person interview. The Madison Awards for Academic Excellence, on the other hand, are merit-based scholarships. Once you apply for admission to JMU, you've applied for all of our Madison Awards. Those are given out by our academic colleges and departments to incoming students, depending on their merit. Second Century Scholars Program is a program for students interested in the STEM areas only. And then our Centennial Scholars Program is a program for Virginia students with great financial need. So a lot of different types of scholarships out there, and we encourage you to look into all of them. One of the hallmarks of JMU is how we support our students, and this results in a lot of other numbers we like to share. Starting with our freshman and transfer orientation programs, our students use many resources across campus to be successful. We have a Student Success Center, an entire building that houses a lot of those support services. In the Student Success Center, you'll find our academic advising offices, our learning resource centers, the tutor centers, our University Health Center, computing IT help desk, the Office of Disability Services. I could go on. A number of different offices, sort of a one-stop shop for all those support. And a lot of that then results in these numbers. A high freshman retention rate is because of this directly. 89% of our students who enroll as freshmen return as sophomores compared to the 80% national average you see. Also, you see our graduation rates. According to Money Magazine, JMU is ranked in the top 25 of public institutions across the country for graduating our students in 4 years. And you see that we have the #1 6-year graduation rate in the entire country for schools a lot like us. Also, once our students graduate and go on and become great alums, they go on and do amazing things. You see here some snapshot data from the class of 2018, where they went, and some of the fun places they went to work. You can see that we have the #1 post-graduation employment rate of all colleges within the state of Virginia. We're pretty proud of that statistic. Our folks are going out and getting jobs at higher rates compared to every other college and university within the state of Virginia. As a matter of fact, within 6 months of graduation, over 96% of our JMU graduates are either employed, enrolled in graduate school, or doing an internship. And yes, as well as work, many of our graduates are enrolled in some of the most prestigious graduate schools all around the world. since we've talked a little bit about that and talked about some sort of the history and some of the culture, let's talk a little bit now about how you get here. Students apply to JMU electronically through our website and can choose one of two application processes, either our own online application through our website or the coalition application. Either one is the same. They both give us all the same information. We have two deadlines for freshman admission. Our early action program is a non-binding early action, and that deadline is November 1st, as you see on the screen. Our regular decision pool deadline is January 15th. We attempt to notify our early action applicants of their initial decision on admission by the end of December, but absolutely no later than January 15th. And we attempt to notify all of our regular decision applicants by the end of February, but no later than actually the end of March. And all students who are admitted to JMU have until May 1st to let us know if they plan on attending. There are three things required to apply to JMU. Number one, your completed application. Number two, your official high school transcript. And number three, your senior year schedule. That's it. That's all you need to have a complete application be able to be admitted to JMU. Students can choose to submit standardized test scores, SAT and or the ACT, a personal statement, and a single letter of recommendation. None of those is required. They're all completely optional. If any of those things will help us understand who you are better as an applicant, feel free to submit them. We admit plenty of folks who supply optional materials, and we admit plenty of folks who don't. Admission to JMU is competitive, so I want to share with you some of the factors we consider. Because we admit into the university as a whole, we want to ensure that students who come to JMU will be academically successful no matter what area of study they end up in. That's why first we're going to focus on your academic history. Two main areas of academic criteria we review. First is the strength of your high school courses. If your high school offers AP, IB, dual enrollment, honors programs, any sort of advanced courses, we expect to see some of those levels on your transcript. We want to see you challenge yourself to the best of your ability while still succeeding. Next, we review your final grades in your core classes. 5 core academic areas that we're going to look at: English, math, lab science, social science, and foreign language. And we expect to see mostly A's and B's in those core areas. Once you come to JMU and want to figure out what you're going to study, we're first and foremost a teaching institution. Means almost all of our classes are taught by professors whose first love is teaching, and our average class size at JMU is 25 students. There's a 16-to-1 student to faculty ratio. About 65% of our classes are actually 29 students or less, and only about 10% of them have even more than 50 students in them. We offer 164 different undergraduate academic programs that are organized into the 8 colleges you see on the left-hand side of the screen. That includes our majors, our minors, and our programs of study. That's all of our unique programs. The top 10 majors you see listed there have been determined by student enrollment. So actually just pure number of students enrolled in that major. Many of our students choose to even double major, have a major and a minor, or multiple minors, any way to truly customize their own education at JMU. In addition to your major courses, all of our JMU students complete a common core of classes we call general education. Students take approximately 41 credit hours in general education classes. And if you're unsure of what you'd like to study, our undeclared students are supported by an academic advising office, or you can choose to take a 1-credit university studies course that focuses on career outcomes to help you pick a major. A major must be declared by the beginning of your sophomore year, but students can freely change from major to major. There are lots of additional educational opportunities offered at JMU. Some of those include our Honors College and our study abroad programs. Benefits of being in the Honors College include faculty mentorship, honors housing that's specific to honor students, specialized study abroad programs, and graduation with distinction. You can apply as an incoming freshman or as a current student at JMU. To learn more about their program, we suggest you go to their website listed there. The Center for Global Engagement at JMU offers a wide variety of study abroad programs hosted in more than 50 countries. We have 5 permanent semester-long programs, 70 short-term summer and spring break programs, exchange and internship opportunities all around the world, as well as partnerships with many external providers. Most of the coursework is taught in English. However, there are some options for students who want to study in immersive programs in certain languages as well. This last year, more than 1,400 students participated in JMU study abroad programs. We know they're on hold right now, but we anticipate getting back to some involvement across the world, hopefully very, very soon. Also, in the academic arena, our vision for JMU is to be the national model for the engaged university, engaged with ideas and with the world. We want our students to not only learn inside the classroom, but also step outside the classroom to collaborate with groups and individuals to practice what it is that they're learning. Some great examples here on the screen. In the bottom right picture, you see some of our geoscience students studying stalagmites and caves in Western Virginia. On the top left, some of our psychology students doing research in the Animal Behavior Lab. And then on the bottom left is a picture of our Madison Investment Fund, one of the top student-led investment fund teams in the entire country. Outside the classroom experiences are not limited to just the sciences. There are a lot of co-curricular activities for students in a lot of different academic disciplines. Some of the other ways that our students try out what they're learning in the classroom are things like doing practicums, internships, and student teaching. By the time they graduate, approximately 80% of our students at JMU have done some sort of hands-on learning outside the classroom. Of course, student life is another big topic that we'd like to talk about. Our students here at JMU participate in over 400 different student clubs and organizations. Our varsity athletics are in Division I of the NCAA. And we also have a lot of students involved in club sports and intramural and other recreation activities. We offer a variety of professional, academic, and special interest organizations, and about 20% of our student body is a member of a Greek social fraternity or sorority. It's easy for all of our new students to get involved because all of our freshmen live on campus and are required to do so their first year. About 35 to 40% of our sophomores choose to return and live in the residence halls on campus, and small numbers of juniors and seniors do as well. While most of our juniors and seniors do move off campus, they're still closely connected to what's going on campus. Most of our student apartment and living complexes are within walking distance of campus. And there's also a City of Harrisonburg public transit system that is free to our students that has bus routes throughout campus and within campus, as well as to all the places of interest to a local student, apartment complexes, downtown, the mall, shopping centers, et cetera, et cetera. When you do get a chance to visit JMU, which we hope will be very soon, and we'd like to see all of you come visit us, we encourage you to not only visit the campus, to visit downtown Harrisonburg and our surrounding area as well. Our downtown is just a couple of blocks from the edge of campus and is a popular destination for all of our students. New students are introduced to downtown during their orientation program in August. The City of Harrisonburg closes off our Court Square and surrounding roads for the block party in the Burg. Freshmen and incoming transfer students are all invited to walk downtown, led by our president. You see in the top picture there, President Alger walking downtown last fall with about 4,700 incoming students, where all the shop owners and restaurateurs open their doors and welcome the students to the community. Located in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia, our students have opportunities for lots of outdoor recreation and outdoor adventure and checking out all the local flavor around us. So at this time, what I want to do is share a quick video with you before we bring our panelists out.
JMU has so much to offer, both academically and in student life. There's so much to get involved in here.
People are so friendly, they care. The teachers actually get to know you.
Things I've learned at JMU have transformed me as a person.
It's hard to put into words. It was just something inside of me. I was like, this is where I should go. This place has just impacted my life in so many amazing ways.
Everybody wanting to be there for one another, everyone wanting to help one another, everyone supporting and uplifting one another. I feel like that's what you get from JMU.
Here at JMU, there is definitely a unique spirit.
As soon as you step on campus, you're going to just fall in love.
JMU created such an environment that I could express myself.
I think that the spirit here is home.
It has just been the most incredible years of my life.
All right. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to listen with me, or listen to me, pardon me. And also just wanted you to know, as you see in the bottom left, it's our admissions webpage there. And on our website, just like any other website in the world, is a contact us link. Click on that, and about partway down the page is a section to find your regional counselor. All of you can click on that and type in where you're from, and it will pull up your regional admissions counselor. For those of you in the Atlanta area, that is me. I am your regional counselor at this time, and pulls up my contact information, including my email address, and I'd be happy to start a conversation with any and all of you. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen, and I'm going to invite Jenny and Georgia Rose to come on and introduce themselves and let them take over. And I want to say thank you very much for listening to me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the event here.
Hi everybody, my name is Georgia Rose. I am a rising senior from Sharon, Massachusetts. I'm a dance major with a minor in pre-physical therapy, and some of my involvements on campus include student ambassadors. So when it is finally safe enough for you guys to come onto campus, I'll be happy to give you a tour, show you around. I am also involved with different parts of Jewish life on campus. I am in Sigma Alpha Epsilon Pi, an all female sorority that is Jewish oriented. And then I am also this upcoming fall on the board for Chabad, and I participate in Hillel events. And this fall, I'm going to be a leadership counselor for Make Your Mark on Madison, which is a program that helps students to find themselves and feel more acclimated at school. I would say that what really drew me to JMU when I was beginning my college search was the sense of community I felt. I was fortunate enough that I was not looking at college during a pandemic, so I was actually able to go to campus. And when I stepped onto campus, I knew I had found something special. Me and my mom actually got lost at one point, and within 2 minutes of being lost, somebody very generously stopped and asked if we were lost. We looked lost, and we obviously didn't look like we belonged there. And they walked 10 minutes out of their way to help us find our car. So that's just kind of generally the spirit that you feel on campus. As far as how I got involved in everything on campus, it definitely took a little bit of time. That first 6 weeks coming into school was difficult, trying to first get a good academic schedule going, figuring out when is the best time for me to do my homework and my studying. And then I kind of started to branch out and join things. The best way that I found to find out about different organizations was to go to Student Org Night, which is held at the beginning of every semester. If anybody has seen the movie Pitch Perfect, it's a little bit like that second scene where Bella is walking on the quad and there's all these different booths of people telling her, come join our club, come join our club. It's very much like that. And I just put my name down for a bunch of things. And I got a whole bunch of contacts. And then when I felt ready, I went out and began attending different events until I felt I had found the right place where I belonged.
All right, hi everybody. I'm Jennifer Weiss. I'm going to be a second year in the fall, and I'm double degreeing in geology and art history. I know, weird combo. I also just recently joined the Honors College, so I'm going to be starting taking honors classes in the fall, so that's new. I'm also president of Hillel, so if you ever come to a Hillel event, you'll definitely see my face there helping everything out. And I also attend Chabad and their weekly Shabbat dinners. And honestly, so this last year I was a freshman, and I didn't really know a lot of people, but I definitely knew that I wanted to be involved in Jewish life on campus, because for me, I was in a Jewish youth group in high school, and I was like missing that aspect of having that community there. And so I started attending Chabad Shabbat dinners, and it was like a weekly time for me to just disconnect from all my schoolwork and not worry about any stresses that were going on, and just be in the moment and hang out with other teens that were also Jewish and going to JMU like me. And I met a lot of my friends through that, and I got a lot of advice from all the older students that were at those dinners. And that was really like sort of I don't know, it sort of connected me, and it like held me down, and like it grounded me. There's the word. but it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed all of my classes that I took. I think it was really, at first I was really nervous that I wasn't going to figure everything out, or that I was like not going to make any friends in any of my classes, but it was really the complete opposite. Everybody was so nice and welcoming, and I felt like I found my place fairly quickly, and it was a fun experience. So yeah. Great. I don't know. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about Jewish life really fast. So as Georgia Rose mentioned, there is the sorority SAE Pi, and there's also a Jewish fraternity AE Pi, and they are both fairly active, and they have a good membership base, and they have plenty of events, and you'll see their faces because they attend like Shabbat dinners and Hillel events as well. All the groups are very connected together. So it's the same, it's some of the same people that you're going to see at every event pretty much. And also Chabad, they have weekly Shabbat dinners. They also do dinner discussions and other events, and they do all the holiday services. So if you're missing home and you're missing your home service and you can't go because it's in the middle of the week and you can't get back, they're really welcoming, and they've always got plenty of stuff. And then there's also Hillel. And so Hillel was in a bit of a transition when I came to JMU. And so the president at the time saw me attending a lot of the Chabad events and like being a present figure. And they asked me if I was interested in taking on a leadership role and helping to bring Hillel back. And so I accepted, and that's how I became president. We had an election shortly after that, and then a new board came in, and we were really excited, and we were going to work on planning a bunch of new events, and we were about to hold a bunch of stuff when coronavirus came in, but it's okay because we're still planning, and we're excited to come back big in the fall. So there's going to be a lot going on when when we get back, and we're really excited to have a bunch of events coming back and definitely being more present. So while Hillel wasn't a big influence before, we're hoping to change that and definitely offer a new perspective on Jewish life on campus. So yeah, Georgia Rose.
Well, I saw that we now have a few questions popping up in the question and answer box. I know that Kelly was also going to help us with that. So one that I want to address is, what is LGBTQIA plus acceptance like on campus? First out of the bat, I have never experienced or seen anybody experience any form of discrimination on campus for their race, gender identity, sexual orientation, religious affiliations. We have lots of opportunities on campus for the LGBTQIA plus community. The first, and probably I think one of the things I was most impressed by is in our Student Success Center. There is a room called the Lavender Lounge. It is run by the Well, which is part of our health center. And the Lavender Lounge is just a general safe space where any student can hang out. So they usually keep it pretty quiet in there. A lot of students like to study in there. One cool feature about it is they have a closet with all sorts of different types of clothing. So if you feel like trying out a new look, wearing something you've never really felt comfortable wearing before, but you want to try it before you commit and maybe buy something, they have a whole closet of clothes that you can look through and try on. Additionally, the Well is right next door, and there are a lot of faculty and staff there that are happy to talk with any students about any issues they may encounter on campus, or if they just need a friendly face to talk to. They're really supportive there. I have gone a few times to the upstairs health center for various ailments, coughs, bad knees and stuff from Dan's. And the staff has always greeted me with such a friendly face. Additionally, up on the third floor of the Student Success Center, we have our counseling center. The counseling center has drop-in hours every day of the week. They also, I forget which Fridays of the month, but one Friday every month, they bring in their therapy dogs. And you can just go up to the counseling center and sit on the floor and play with these beautiful dogs. They also have a room called the art therapy room. I don't know if that's exactly what it's called, but that's what it is. It's art therapy. Any student can go in and use it and just make art. Sometimes there will be a staff member in there leading a project, but you don't necessarily have to follow it. And there's this room filled to the brim with all sorts of different relaxation things. So they have massage chairs. It's kind of a little bit dimmer. There's a waterfall in the corner. They have iPads filled with meditation games and just kind of games to get your mind off of stress. The one rule about that room is that you can't take a nap in it. If they see you napping, they unfortunately have to kick you out, but it is open for any and all students to use. So those are just some of the different materials that are there for students who are any student or students who are part of the LGBTQIA+ community.
I also wanted to mention a couple clubs that we have on campus. One of them, there are multiple clubs on campus for queer student life, and there's also one of the main ones that I personally was a part of for a little bit was Madison Equality, and they're one of the oldest clubs on campus, and they were very, very welcoming to me, and I met some of my friends through that club, and they were very nice. They meet every single Thursday. So if you're ever feeling stressed, they meet fairly often. So there's always someone to talk to, and their board is extremely nice. And I remember I went to a meeting right before like Thanksgiving break, and they were talking about resources you can find at home if you've got not necessarily a very accepting home life. And so they're a definite resource for you to reach out to if you need anything. And if you're looking for a community, and they hosted an annual charity event, and I don't remember, but they had like voguing and competitions, like outfit competitions, and it's such a blast. And I highly recommend, if you're interested in it, to check them out and get involved, because they're a definite, very nice community. But no, I've never seen anything sort of like not accepting people, and everything I've seen is everybody I've met is very, very nice and very, very accepting, and it's a great community to be a part of. So, yeah. And then
thank you guys so much. That was so great. So much information that we're giving people. So really wonderful. Thank you all for sharing. We have a couple questions that have populated the Q&A. People out there, if you have more questions, please feel free to put them in here. We are not going to stop until we've answered all of them. Luckily, so far, that's only 5, but if there are more, please send them our way. Paul, we'll start with you. Paul, we have, I'm going to give you, okay, Paul, I'm going to start with 2 questions for you, and you can take them as you want. One is, what is the average GPA and or ACT, SAT score for entering freshmen? That was one question. And then the other question is, what percentage of JMU students are people of color? Obviously, those are not the same question, but I wanted to get those, feel like those go to the admissions office.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'll address the testing and GPA. There is no sort of average GPA because, again, every school in the country reports GPA differently. So as I mentioned in the presentation, what we're going to be looking at mostly are your core classes and looking mostly for A's and B's in those areas. Not all, but mostly A's and B's in those areas. As far as standardized test scores, we are test optional. So the numbers can skew a little bit. Of our admitted freshmen last year, so the students we admitted, those who reported their test scores, the mid 50% range, if you take all the scores, the middle 50% on the SAT were 1160 to 1320, and on the ACT was 30 to 34. 25% scored higher, 25% scored lower, and then we had a whole bunch of people who didn't even report their scores. So that's that. As far as our minority numbers, people of color make up about 12 to 14% of the campus, but we are continually attempting to grow that number and increase our representation across campus.
Paul, did you guys become test optional because of COVID-19, or were you test optional before that?
We were before. We just finished our second complete admissions cycle. So we have 2 classes at JMU, or we have 1 class at JMU, and we'll have another one in the fall who did not have to report their test scores to us.
Wonderful. Okay, Georgia Rose, you're up next. Someone specifically addressed you to know what airport you fly into. I'm not sure why that was a specific Georgia Rose question, but I'll let you answer it. And another question about community service opportunities. Those feel like those are student ambassador questions, so go for it.
Yeah. So yes, being a 10-hour drive away from the school, I do tend to fly a lot, especially for shorter breaks that are only a week long, like Thanksgiving and spring break. So I've flown out of 3 different airports. The first airport, which is closest to the school, is the Shenandoah Valley Airport. It is very, very, very small, but it's efficient. It will get you there. So it's about a 20-minute drive from the school. And they actually have their own shuttle. So I was able to get a shuttle from my residence hall to the airport, and I took a little plane to Dulles, and then from Dulles I transferred to a larger plane that brought me to Logan. I only really use that one if I have to get home quickly, or I can't find a ride to get me to the other airports. So I've only flown in and out of there, I think, twice. I have flown in a bunch of times out of both Dulles and Reagan Airport. So Dulles is about an hour and a half, give or take, with traffic. Reagan is about 2 hours, again, give or take, with traffic. And there are multiple shuttles that run from the school to both airports with varying price ranges, especially around breaks. You will find a lot of people, a lot of shuttle companies coming to the school to give you rides specifically to the airports. The shuttle company that I use, I'm blanking on their name, but I use them every single time. They were so reliable, picked me right up at my door, dropped me off at the exact terminal that I needed. And one time, actually, me and another student who were flying back from Boston, they left our luggage in Boston. So the shuttle company waited 45 minutes for us to kind of sort out where all of our stuff had gone, and make sure that it wound up in the right place at JMU for us. So those are the different airports that I have used to fly. Now I do have a car on campus, but my first 2 years I did not. So I do drive back pretty regularly. And so I will use a page called JMU Rides, which is a Facebook page. And I'll post on there, hey, I'm driving back to this area of New England. I can stop along the way, and then I'll say maybe like $30 for gas or something like that, and I'll have people comment. And so that's how I've been able to not drive the 10 hours alone each time, which has been really nice. As far as different service opportunities on campus, there are so many opportunities both on campus and in the surrounding Harrisonburg area. Student ambassadors is actually a service opportunity. We serve the university by helping out admissions. And then additionally, there are a multitude of different clubs and organizations where their pure interest is different service opportunities on and around campus. My friend is a member of ESA, which is a service fraternity. And she has worked with the ASPCA in Harrisonburg, as well as a food pantry. Also, there are several classes that have service opportunities tied to them. My second year, I took a class called Dance in the Community. And the first half of the semester, we were learning how to teach dance to all different populations. And then the second half of the semester, we split into groups and were assigned to different areas of Harrisonburg. And we taught dance. So I was assigned to a group called Generations Crossing. They are a daycare facility, both for little tiny kids, so kids in preschool, and then also for older adults. And we would teach a class to both groups at the same time. So that was one example of how I got a service opportunity through a class, and it was a really great experience.
There are also many of the clubs, even if they're just interest clubs, such as I'm a part of Geology Club, they have service components to them. So part of the Geology Club, one of the positions is an educational chair. And so they've worked with the community. So they go to the library monthly and they work with kids, and they get to like share their rocks and talk about geology concepts with little kids that come in to ask about geology. And they also had planned an event that unfortunately had to be canceled due to Corona called Expanding Your Horizons. And it was for young girls in STEM. And so even if you're just interested in a club, but you really want to give back, you might want to look into what they do in that club, because it's very possible that they have a service component, even if that's not the focus of the club.
Awesome.
If I can real quick, Kelly,
yeah.
also, and just outside of organizations and clubs, one of our sort of hallmarks of campus is we have one of the most active alternative break programs in the entire country. We've had years where students would camp out for a day or two in advance of signups, so they get signed up for the alternative break program that they wanted to be on. That's not only spring break, but fall break, winter break, and even break weekends, where students just take a weekend trip to do service. So we have a very active community service learning office.
Awesome. Okay, Jenny, you're up. I have a couple
Okay.
Jewish life questions that I'm going to throw you.
Okay.
One is, what is Reform Jewish community like? And I think it'd be great to just talk about kind of denominationally how things break down and how different denominations are served in the community. And then there's a question of, how would you estimate the number of Jewish students at JMU? So Jenny, if you want to try those two.
Yes. Okay. So first off, I'm going to just break it down real fast by denomination and like try to explain a little bit what that's like. So there is a Reformed synagogue in Harrisonburg. And so if you want to be involved with them, they're very welcoming to students. And one of the members of the community board of the synagogue was our advisor for Hillel up until this year. So they like to partner with the student Jewish organizations on campus. So there's definitely a place for you. But I will say is, there aren't many Jews at JMU, but there are enough that it doesn't seem like there's none. But because there aren't that many, Jewish organizations are aware that they need to be welcoming to everybody. So like the Chabad, like they don't cater only to Orthodox students. And if you don't know anything about Jewish life at all, like you are still welcome to come and you won't be overwhelmed or confused. There's only like a 10-minute prayer at the beginning and end of each dinner, and then it just moves on to just talking and eating food at Shabbat. And the services are only like 10 to 15 minutes long, maybe longer on high holidays, but it's definitely not an overwhelming experience and you get the hang of it after a while. So it's definitely welcome to everybody if you're interested in joining. And I definitely highly recommend coming to a Chabad Shabbat dinner, even if you're Reform or conservative or Orthodox or anything like that. And then we did have a question submitted previously about Orthodox life. That was before the call, I think. And so I just wanted to address that. There isn't kosher food on campus. Like you're not going to find that. I have a friend that keeps kosher and she mostly just eats vegetarian on campus. And then her meal is the weekly Shabbat dinner that Chabad holds. But because there is a Chabad, there is a place for you, and that if you want to have a more intense service on holidays or on Shabbats, you can just go over to the rabbi's house and ask them for it, and they're welcoming to you, and they will do services with you. They will help you out. They bring you soup if you're sick. They feed you very well. It's all about food. But they're a source for you if you feel like you're uncomfortable, or if you want a more Orthodox experience, you can definitely go to them. And they have like 5 kids, and they're all so nice and crazy and definitely a part of the experience, and you get to know and love them because they're so sweet. But I highly recommend that anybody interested in even considering it, like go to a Chabad Shabbat dinner in your first week and just check it out, because like everybody there is so nice and welcoming, and it's free food. So like that's always the benefit to a college freshman. And then, so conservatives, same, we've got Hillel, we've got the fraternities and sorority, we've got Chabad, they welcome everybody, we welcome everybody. There is no conservative synagogue or Orthodox synagogue nearby, but I mean, I personally identify as conservative, and I have found no trouble fitting in and being plenty Jewish. So don't be worried if you're worried about it being too Jewish for you or not enough Jewish, because they cater to everybody and they'll figure it out. Amazing. And then, yes, and then the percentage of students, Jewish students on campus, I don't know the exact number. I had it at some point. I had done the math. I don't know if Paul can chime in there if he knows.
I feel like your answer of there are more than 0, like you feel like there are enough to have Jewish community. Like I feel like your answer. I don't know if we need a specific number, but Paul, do you have a number?
I have heard in the past, and this is of course we don't track religious affiliation, but I've heard students involved in Hillel and other organizations in the past say somewhere between 200 and 400 typically on campus out of 20,000 who identify as part of the Jewish faith.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
But yeah, if you feel like there's not enough Jews, just come to a Jewish event. Like I have my weekly dose of Shabbat dinners and Hillel events and Chabad events, and that has made me plenty integrated into the Jewish community. And I definitely have never felt like there's no Jews on campus because of that. So yeah.
Thank you. Okay, Paul, I'm going to throw you a question, and maybe Georgia Rose and Jenny, if you have what to add, please do. Somebody's asking, can you speak to internships since you are not in a city? How does that work?
Yeah, that is, we're not an urban campus, but everybody says JMU is 2 hours from everywhere. We're 2 hours from our state capital. We're 2 hours from our nation's capital by drive. So we have a lot of folks who find great internships, and we're really not far from New York City. A lot of our college business students take internships in New York City, as well as Washington, D.C., Richmond, the Tidewater area of Virginia, lots of places. So we have a very active internship program. We hold an internship fair twice a year, or once a semester, through our Office of Career and Academic Planning. So you see a lot of folks doing them in those areas. Our political science department has a quote unquote study abroad program in Washington, D.C. Called the Semester in Washington program, where students go and live in an apartment building in downtown DC, right on Capitol Hill, and all get internships, typically with the federal government, somewhere on the Hill, things like that. And then a lot of folks, as I said, in business are in DC and New York, Richmond. So lots of different opportunities for different internships. And then, I know, and some of them are even local. Some of our engineering students have had some great internships locally with firms in the area. So even down to very small programs, it may not be with a large multinational company, but getting the same experience and doing probably even more in some of those smaller ones.
Yeah. There was a follow-up question, Paul, about co-ops. Do you guys have co-ops at JMU?
We do not. Not in the typical definition, no.
Okay, great. Okay, if anybody out there has more questions, I have one more in my list that I'm going to throw to everybody. But if there's anything else you guys out there want me to ask, now is your chance. So here's the question that somebody asked. I'm going to throw it to all of you. If you could change something about JMU, what would you change? And to not end on a negative note, let's say, what would you change, and what is what would be the one your favorite thing that you'd want to leave everybody with? We'll make this positive and, go a little bit on both. So Georgia Rose, why don't you start?
Yeah, so I have been saying this ever since I joined Student Ambassadors, but every time I say it, they fix it. So it's the bus system. And truly, since my first year, there has been so many major improvements to the bus system, and there are still improvements coming. So we do have a very active bus system, both on and off campus. JMU works very closely with the Department of Transit in Harrisonburg, and we have a specific set of buses. I believe there's now 5 that are called inter-campus shuttles, and from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. they run from one end of campus to the other end of campus. So my problem used to be that those buses were too full, they weren't running often enough, and they added more to the line. So that problem got solved. Now I would say is that there are so many students using the buses, and we have expanded campus. So there's now a stop that kind of lags people along, but this upcoming fall, they're opening, I'm not sure if they're calling it ICS 2, but there's a new road that has been built, and they're adding that to the bus route. So there's going to be a detour that some buses take to get you to the other side of campus a little bit quicker. Now you can walk from one side of campus to the other. It's about 15 to 20 minutes, but sometimes when it is raining out or snowing, or you just have the time, you want to get on that bus because it's free. So that would probably be the one thing I would like to fix. And as I said, every time I find a problem with it, they fix it. And then my absolute favorite thing on campus is one of our traditions. It's Duke's Hold Doors. So when I first heard this, I was like, yeah, right. Being from Boston, we're not known for our pleasantries. And it is so true. People will truly wait that extra 10 seconds, 30 seconds holding that door for you. And it just kind of bonds us all as a community. I always have a sense that everybody I'm around has my back, and they're not going to slam the door in my face. So that is my favorite part about campus.
That's really nice. Jenny, you're up next.
Yes.
Tell me what would you change and your favorite thing?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this for a couple days now in preparation, and I've honestly had so much trouble thinking of something I would change because, like, there are some things that are not my favorite, but I'm just kind of a go with the flow kind of person. So it's like I was in a dorm this past year called the Village, and it's like an area on campus with a bunch of dorms, and they're known for not having AC. And like for me,
Getting it.
they are getting it. So, you know, they're fixing it. But like, I personally never had a problem with the heat. I know a lot of people did. I would say the weirdest part about it was the change in temperature because it would be like below freezing outside. So you'd wear a jacket and like you'd walk in the door and like 10 seconds in, like you'd be sweating so much you'd have to take the jacket off. And then you get up to your room and it's so hot. So you open the window and then 10 minutes later it's freezing again. So you have to keep opening and closing the window to keep the balance. But it honestly, like, I was like, it's not a big deal. I just open the window and I'm fine, or I close it and I'm fine. But that was like the weirdest, I don't know, that was like my biggest problem this past year was just dealing with the temperature, but it wasn't even like that bad. And I honestly, like, I don't have a problem with it and they're fixing it. So it's going to be fine. But I don't know. My favorite thing about JMU though was just um this kind of ties back into the internship thing is the internship question is just the ability for me to just jump in like full on. It's like go at whatever pace I want. And so if I want to like lay back, figure out, get comfortable, and then figure out what I want to do and go into that, then I can go as slow or as fast as I want. Me, I was a very fast person. There was a mineral museum on campus and I like geology and art history. So I was like, can I intern with you? And they were like, yes. And so I've been an intern with them in the Lisenby Museum, which is an art museum on campus for the past 2 semesters. And I'm going to be continuing that in the fall. And like, I also, the geology department does research. And so if I go to them and I'm like, hey, I want to research this thing, I'm sure they'd be fully on board. And if I was like, hey, I want to get involved in this club, they're like, sure, help us out. Like also I wrote an essay in my fall semester art history class that got accepted into this art history forum, which is a sort of presentation where you can present your research to the community. And so I presented my research there. And then the teacher that I wrote that essay and worked on the presentation with, I'm now doing an independent study with her on her research. So it's like, you meet so many people and they're so willing to get you involved if you have an interest and willingness to do it, that you can just jump on in and like fully just run with it. And that's my favorite part of campus.
Awesome. Okay, Paul, the last word's going to you. You bleed purple, so tell us, what is your favorite thing and what is one thing that you would change? Or another final word if that's not the note you want to end this on.
No, that's all right. I would say the one thing that I would change about JMU is our sort of accessibility. One of the things that's unfortunate about our university is that compared to many of our peers, we have lagged behind in private fundraising. So our scholarship endowment is not as large as many of our peers. So while we have scholarships and we have a lot of them and we are trying to grow them, we don't have the opportunities necessarily that some of our peer institutions do. We have so many students who want to come to JMU and love to be at JMU that sometimes we just fall a little short on that. But it is something we're improving on, something we're taking very seriously. But that's the one thing I would change is the opportunity for more students out there to come discover JMU and be part of this amazing community, because so many of them want to be that just may not be able to. So we're very glad to get those students who can be part of JMU. And I would say my favorite part of JMU, I came here 26 years ago not realizing that I was coming home. I came from another institution for my undergraduate degree and came to JMU just thinking it was going to be a stop. And so did my wife. Here's almost 30 years later, and we are both lifers. That community has just been home, and it becomes home for so many people. You will find more alumni teaching and working on campus at JMU than almost any other place you'll find. Over 10% of our faculty and staff actually have JMU degrees. And you're not going to see that in a lot of places. People just come here and they fall in love, and they continue that, and the connections they make through our alumni and our parents. We have a very active parents council, and George Rose is laughing because her mother is on it, and and they are so involved in our campus life, and just how people care about JMU and how people love JMU. So that's my favorite thing.
That was a beautiful note to end on. I hope everyone out there found this hour as informative as I did. And maybe JMU is your home and you didn't even know it until tonight. So thank you to all of our presenters for joining us, for sharing about your experience, about your beautiful campus, and about all of the opportunities. So thank you guys all so much. Our road trip is continuing from here. We are just starting off week 3 of our whole month of virtual college road trip. So tomorrow at 1 p.m. we have FSU, Florida State information session. And tomorrow at 5 p.m. we have UCF, University of Central Florida. So we'll be jumping from Virginia to Florida tomorrow. And then on Wednesday at 5 p.m. we have an information session with the College of Charleston, and a parent webinar at 8 p.m. on college admission testing in 2020, which is something, as more colleges are moving to testing optional, is a real topic that has come up on a lot of our information sessions. So you'll definitely want to join us. Again, all of our webinars, information sessions are available on our YouTube channel, which you can find through our website, roadtriptocollege.org. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Thank you again to all of our presenters, and hopefully we will see you again on our road trip moving forward. Have a good night, everybody.